Hey, this is William Tincup, and you're listening, hopefully watching, the You Should Know podcast. We've got a fan favorite, Amy Mosher from iSolved, on today. Amy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, William. Thank you so much for having me again.
For those of you that are watching, we're both wearing pink, which is one of the primary iSolved colors. So if you ever see them at a conference, they got pink everything. Pink shoes, pink jackets, belts. I just have a shirt from one of the user conferences a couple of years ago in Palm Springs. But how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, William. It's great to be here. I have a lot going on in the industry I want to talk about today, so I'm really excited to chat.
Yeah, we're going to be talking, y'all did some research, HR Trends Report. We're going to be talking about that specifically. And so first of all, introduce yourself.
Oh,
For
sure.
those that don't know you, let's do that bit.
For those that don't know, I'm Amy Mosher. I'm the Chief People Officer at iSolved. We are an HR services and HR everything, including payroll company, and very excited to be here today. I've got decades in the industry. We're not going to say how many.
No.
Wink, wink.
No,
Nod, nod.
No.
Uh,
Ageism is a thing. Really.
It is.
Legit.
Sure.
It is a thing.
And I'm coming at this from a practitioner lens. So I've been there, done it, done most of the roles in HR, and now get to work with the HR best practices business. So,
and for some of you that might be familiar with the brand Applicant Pro, which is really on the TA side of things, the recruiting side of things, y'all made an investment. Y'all put money into them, and now the Applicant Pro brand is a part of the iSolved brand.
It is, yeah. It's fully acquired, and integrated now. It's iSolved Talent.
That's fantastic.
And we're very excited about that arm. And I have to tell you, I use all of their technology and best practice myself to grow our own business.
See? That's that Silicon Valley, you drink your own champagne, eat your own dog food. I've had people refer to it like you eat your own dog food. I'm like, I don't really kind of like that. So,
no, I like the champagne reference.
Yeah, drink your own champagne.
Yeah, feels better. Yeah.
Feels better. Makes me feel better. Dog food. Hopefully that's not until my senior years. Just kidding. Just kidding. Anyhow, okay, so after the research came out and you first looked at it, what jumped off the page for you?
What jumped off the page for me?
What stuck out?
You know what stuck out is that we're, as HR practitioners, and I feel like we're an industry as it evolves from a human resources perspective, it just feels like same challenges,
different names,
different atmosphere. Same challenges, different atmosphere, and you kind of see these recycling themes, and it comes in waves. And if you've been in human resources for
a number of years,
as long as we have,
yes.
You can see that it's ebbing and flowing. It's macroeconomic, it's microeconomic, it's social influence, technology influence right now a ton. And what I'm seeing from the trend data is that never more than now, right? Are we going through all of these things? A couple stats I want to throw out.
Yeah, let's go.
One thing that really surprised me about this survey: 65% of HR leaders are feeling like the power of influence is going back to the employer from the employee. And I think we went super far with the pendulum swung far to the employee with COVID, and now it's kind of coming back and normalizing more toward the median, but pushing back toward the employer side. And there are different opportunities that we have strategically as HR leaders when that happens.
One is to not abuse it, because in recruiting, they talk about, is it a candidate-driven market or is it an employer-driven market? And when it's an employer-driven market, salaries come down, lengths of interviews, basically there's using the word abuse is probably not the right phrase, but it's power, right?
It is.
That old cliche, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. So I think the better employers, when it's tilted their way, and maybe they have more candidates than, they have job openings, etc., just don't abuse it, because it will, as you said, pendulum. It will swing the other way.
It will go back. Now, interestingly, though, in the same survey, HR practitioners said 62% of them said that they're reporting it's a self-inflicted talent crisis. Like, they're not leveraging best practice. They're not leveraging AI. their hiring practices are still outdated. They can't move fast enough to move with the trend. So there's a lot of self-reflection and market realignment.
That
I think
number on his face of it is high because it's two
it is.
thirds, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I think that number in reality is probably 20 points higher.
yeah.
So one of
Uh-huh.
those is we don't talk about it in recruiting as much of like response times with the younger generation. It's not going to pick on elder millennials or Gen Z or Gen Y or anybody else. However, because I have two kids in one of those groups, their attention is not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to strike when you have that moment of attention.
Yeah.
So when you have them at a job ad on your careers page or
Yep.
whatever, when you have them, you have to strike because if you don't, they're gone. They're not bookmarking.
No, I'm with you. It's a culture of now, right? It's happening right now. It's just the availability of information. They can go and look and find any job anywhere, anytime
That's right.
now.
That's right.
So you better have all your ducks in a row so that you can, I think,
Strike.
hire strike, right? But hire with intention still. I mean, time to fill used to be the metric, right? Now it's making sure you have the right people in the right seats doing the right thing
At the right time.
at the right time.
Yes.
Time, absolutely.
I think
It,
I think the thing for me is, you know, getting talent attraction, getting HR to understand that. Like it's not a faucet. It's something that you've got to. It might have been a faucet at one point. I think like when I came out of high school, getting a job was like just going into the mall, get a mall. I mean, get a job. Somebody's hiring. Um, it's not that. And like my youngest Van Allis, if he does everything's through Instagram. He doesn't use email.
no,
That's the email's a foreign concept. In fact, I wish his school would actually just go to texting because all the
right.
kids are in the same basket. They're they see email and they're like, why are we using this arcane tool? Um, but like on Instagram, if he doesn't go into the ad, the shop, or whatever they're advertising to him, it's gone. It's as if it never happened, and he'll never go backwards. So I think we have to look at that from a jobs perspective
We
and
absolutely do. It changes everything, though. It changes your metrics, your KPIs, how you
process.
hire,
Oh
who
yeah,
you hire. It changes the whole concept of candidate experience, applicant experience, right? Completely turns it on its head, right? Because engagement takes on a whole new meaning.
oh yeah. Well, and it's not just engagement once. You struck well in the moment. You got them there. Now how do you convert them in a way that makes most sense for them, even in an employer-driven market? And this is where we've historically made the mistake: is if it's an employer-driven market, they have to play by our rules,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's gone.
And
Because
it's not, it isn't, it just doesn't exist anymore.
no, that's gone.
Yeah.
It won't come back. They're not going to play by. They'll just not work, or they'll work gigs rather than to play the game that you want them to play. So okay, that sticks out. I think I would probably index that higher because people were honest, which is great, but I think that more of it's probably 80-85%.
True. But you know what the gap could be? And I was thinking about it. It could be that we're not leveraging all of the tools in our toolkit right now that we've never had before. AI leveraged talent acquisition best
It's
practice,
that's a that's a
where
that's a that's a speech you could give for the next 5 years. You're not leveraging the technology that you have at your disposal.
right? So
You
those
could
other
literally,
20%, they don't even know that
oh,
they're
100%.
they're not leveraging best practice right now
Right.
yet.
Well, what is a best practice? The very definition of that, it's got like milk, it's got an expiration date on it. So, like you and I grew up in a world where you could lay down a best practice,
Yeah.
a process, let's say, and not touch it for 2 years
No,
or longer.
no.
Yeah, those days are gone.
No, it
That's
absolutely is gone. And because AI
yeah,
is changing and the utilization, how we can use AI to build best practice, and leverage these is changing. Every 3 months, I think, you could see a marked change right now. So what you started using 3 months ago is already out of date.
Yeah.
So your best skill here is your ability to learn, move, learn, move, learn.
Which is you've got to for the audience, you got to realize how unsettling that is for people that work in HR and recruiting, because that's not where they came from. They're not technologists. This isn't how they kind of grew up. But you're absolutely right. It isn't. You're going to get to a place and you're done. You'll never reach that definite destination. But the idea of constant innovation in people and what they're doing and the technologies and process and things like that, every 3 months seems about right to me,
Yeah,
where it's not too long and it's not
yeah,
too short. It's just a
yeah,
reevaluation. And I use Billy Beane's quote from the Oakland Athletics. If we weren't already doing it this way, how would we do it? So it gets everybody in that frame of like, let's tear this down and let's build it back up. But
yeah,
I, the
yeah.
unsettling part for HR, this is the new normal,
Right.
and it's those numbers. So if we can get down to a 3 month kind of agility, it's going to be 2 months
Yeah, it
at
will.
a certain point.
It
There
will.
will be a point where it won't be every day or every hour or something like that. I don't think we're going to see that, but it'll be faster.
Yeah, this is the agility Olympics right now. From but we've been training for this our whole lives as HR practitioners, right?
100%.
Now, so if
100%.
anyone can do it, we can do it. Let's just
Well,
go get it.
if we look, you don't have to look too far back. 2020,
Right?
HR
Just
is the one
figure
that,
out how to do it.
yeah, again, they innovated in communications in particular, because they weren't talking to all the employees every day about certain things, and so they got to flex muscles that they had,
Yeah,
but they didn't need to be using.
yeah, I'm
I
with you.
think we've
I'm with
kind of
you.
regressed a bit since COVID. It's kind of odd.
Interestingly, we would do that, right? I
Yeah.
think you always naturally, just societally, we kind of go to the lowest common denominator and
Yes.
just relax a little bit. Oh, we got through that heightened emergency. Okay,
Yeah.
now,
Everybody
because
take.
we're always looking to make it easier and kind of sit back a little. And I think we did sit back a little, and now we're paying
Well,
attention a
I
little
was
more.
talking more about companies, not
Yeah,
HR. HR got burnt out.
yeah.
That's a different. I
Look,
I
I
know that just
maintain
because
a
of my
high level of
friends.
energy.
I'm done.
Sorry.
I'm tired. I'll go sell cars,
It's
whatever.
tough.
I think, but what I love about HR is they rose to the occasion, carried us through very difficult moments, and yeah, they got tired, and rightfully so.
Yeah,
But I think companies have regressed. I should have said
yeah,
that a little bit more clear. I think companies have regressed in kind of their thinking. Like we're going back to 2019, like it was a banner year, and and that's not great for that mindset of looking at things every 3 months,
yeah.
because we
Well,
weren't
here we
doing
are
it in
again.
2019.
Here we are again.
Yes.
I Coming back to the survey a little bit, I wanted to point out that it speaks to this. When we asked HR practitioners who is leveraging AI to better shape themselves, to better shape their businesses, to better shape talent and their talent acquisition strategy, 70% said they were. Now the difference is who's really leveraging AI and who's just using ChatGPT
Well,
right now.
it's a self-defined state of mind, right? So if I'm answering that as a practitioner, I'm going to lie just to make myself feel better.
Integrity be darned.
Just, just so I mean, I am. My chat GPT is named Elvis. So I'm Elvis and I talk every day. Yes, I am using AI, but there's not a there's not an agreed definition of what that means. That's the A part of that. Um, and again, it's not just their use; it's the use of their employees. So they might actually be using it. Cool, done deal. But what you said. It's moving so fast. Are you
Mm-hmm.
keeping up with the
Yeah,
advancements?
yeah.
Are you keeping
Here,
up with that, and
Here's
are
what
you
makes
getting
that
your employees to use AI
mhm,
to their benefit?
exactly. That's what makes this an HR opportunity
Yes.
is that learning anything new requires an enablement
Yep.
focus. And our ability to understand it, well, we lead leaders, right? Our ability to understand this and encourage adoption comes from the enablement side. If we don't understand what it's capable of doing, how can we ensure the organization understands what it's capable of doing for them and how better to leverage it? That and we're all behind right now, all of us, no matter what size company we are, and it's because it's moving so fast. So it feels very out of control right now to us, I think. It feels like that.
You've also got those that are doing it well don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? In general, like if we talk about employer branding off topic,
I'm going to tell you
um,
they're too busy to talk, William. That's the.
they're not going to talk because it becomes, as you talked to me about this, it becomes a competitive advantage.
It does.
If you can get your employees to adopt and keep adopting, so it's not just a one and done. The training and development, learning and development teams can actually keep them on that wheel of continuous learning. You'd be a fool to go out and tell people about how you're doing that because you've lost that competitive advantage. So I'm always fascinated because people ask me, they're like, who's doing it well? And then it could be anything, but who's doing it well? I'm like, you'll never know them because they're not going to talk. They're probably locked down legally by not talking. If their general counsel is anything worth their salt, they're probably
Oh, come.
legally bound to not talk about the competitive
It gets
advantage.
out. It gets out because employees start to see the difference.
That's right.
That's where the reputation.
Well, that's the stickiness of engagement. It's like you're teaching me new stuff. Why would I leave in an environment where I'm getting paid consistently and I'm learning about what is and what it will be? Why would I leave that environment?
Yep.
And it also filters out the people that don't want to learn.
I I don't disagree with you at all. I love that. I was having that conversation with one of my peers,
Yep.
and she's an HR leader in Australia, right, doing a totally different kind of job with a totally different kind of company. Same issue, same thing. You need look the we were arguing that we agreed on this. The most important skill set right now is your ability to learn and move forward. It doesn't matter what your original your core skill sets were. If you are immovable and you cannot learn and you cannot continuously learn
Yeah.
forever,
You want it.
you
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 want
will
it. You
become irrelevant.
well, it's I used to say it, but I said it in a different way. I like people surround myself with people that can deal with ambiguity. And this is those times, and it's spoken in a different way that in the job description is maybe a sentence. Your
Mm-hmm.
job's going to change every couple of days. Now, if that scares you, okay, cool, don't apply because that's what we need. We need people that are like, oh, cool, great, I won't get bored.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're excited about that rather than that terrifies them. If that terrifies you, I don't know what you're going to do because in any of our industries, change is it isn't just change is a coming; it's change is coming
Every day,
every day.
every day, something new. Every day,
So,
something
anything
honestly
else
not
stick
just
out?
new.
Go ahead.
In the survey,
Yeah,
oh gosh, it's a great survey this year.
we'll get yelled at if we don't cover points. You know this,
Right? We
right?
should do that.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. A couple of ways I feel like from a best practice perspective, HR practitioners are utilizing AI. One is in the payroll sector. That obviously speaks near and dear to my heart. They're using it to make sure that getting your compensation right is first and foremost, right? Which is great. If there's any,
Mistakes are made. However, you can not do succession at all
no,
for 5 years and no one will
yeah,
notice. But if you miss, if
it's
payroll
foundational.
is jacked, you'll hear about it. And then again, we know this because it's just one of those deals. I also like the way that y'all approach fraud in payroll. And so people aren't even thinking that thought. They're like, going on about their business. And just like, I just run my payroll. It's like, it used to be that easy. Unfortunately, we have some bad characters out there, bad actors out there doing bad things, and so we have to actually put protections in place.
Look, I mean, I work for a payroll company. We're using AI to defraud the fraudsters that are trying to use EA to
That's right. And
to
and you
engage
know
in
what?
fraud.
If you and I talked about this very subject 10 years ago,
Oh,
it wouldn't have come up.
it's
It wouldn't have been a thing. It's a thing,
incredible.
and for the audience, it's a thing where you have to have professionals that know the fraud world. Like I went to business school with a guy that was in credit card fraud for like
Hmm.
different credit card companies. And when he graduated, he went back into it. Lives in Charlotte, and so he's been in the credit fraud business for a long time. I won't say how many years, but for a long time. And again, it's never it's not monolithic. It's changing, always evolving. And so yeah, uh, payroll is not as simple as it once was.
No, it isn't. But it is if you've got a good partner. Look,
Yep.
self self promotion here. You're gonna be all right. You've got to have experts at the wheel. One of the other areas that I think that HR teams are not taking advantage of AI specifically, as we talked about that, and that came up in the survey, is that 72% of HR professionals in the survey said benefits, enrollment, and the benefit experience for employees is still stressful. Still stressful, 72%. And this is something we do over and over and over every day, every year, every every
Open
quarter.
enrollment.
For
You want to make an HR professional kind of fall to the ground and start sucking on their thumbs. Two words. It used to be implementation. Thank, Thankfully, that's gotten better. But open enrollment, I don't care size of company, industry, whatever. You just say open enrollment, and they'll be like, oh,
And for our entire careers, we've been talking about this. This is a
nothing new.
50-year problem, right? Like it's not, and it just gets harder and harder and more
What do you think
expensive and more
drives that?
expensive.
What do you think? Is it just insurance
Um,
changes, and we used to cover
Personally,
GLP-1s? Now we don't cover GLP-1s, and that's the big thing. Like
uh,
what do you think the
look,
drives that?
in the U.S., I think it's driven by a little bit differently than other countries, but I would say in the U.S., insurance is big business. It always has been, and anything that's driven by big business and the dollar is going to become more and more complicated and harder to use so that you are making it more and more profitable, right?
Yeah,
So I think,
it's a
and a lot
business.
feeds into that, right? Like
Yeah,
the pharma industry feeds into that, the R&D industry feeds into that. There's a ton of kind of pieces of that puzzle, and all of them are getting more and more expensive. And guess who has to handle that and handle the complexity of it all? The consumer does.
I usually tell people new to HR benefits will go up 9% every year.
Yeah, and it has.
Just go ahead and just
Yeah.
it's a magic number. They won't do double digits, and they're not going to do low single digits, and it's definitely not
Well,
going to be backwards.
for every new HR person out there that's taking on their very first open enrollment, your benefit insurance companies are first going to come back with 25%.
Oh,
And then you're going to
100%.
weed that down to 14. And
That's
then
right.
you're going to weed that down to 9. And that's just the way it goes. So don't fall for it,
That's the
right?
game.
That is the game that they play, and they have always since the beginning of time.
I think so. I agree with everything you said. The thing that I would add is partner confusion. The domestic partner, wife, spouse, husband, whatever the bit is like I don't know my benefits at all. My wife knows my benefits far better than I will ever know them. And
It's
and
just
sh
division of duties, really, William.
well, I think there's a leverageable moment here where it's like, listen, some of that is that's the energy. It's like the person that works for you doesn't really know what all you have and how to use it. So you get benefits that go unused. And a benefit is only a benefit if it's being consumed.
Yeah. So there's a whole enablement arm that I
Ding.
think is completely overlooked. And
Yes.
we're using AI today
Oh, cool.
to do that for our employees.
Tell me a little
And
bit about that.
we have, well, I saw as a payroll platform, we use all of our own software, right? And a
Drink your
part
own
of that,
champagne, baby.
right? And a part of that is that we have the ability as a part of our open enrollment or as a part of any other life event, for an employee to go in and see, based on their personal situation, how they're using their benefits, what they're using their actual benefits for. They can see how other plans that are available to them might fit their needs differently, really based on their personal situation. Or it takes all of the data for a population together and says, okay, well, other individuals are using it in this way and it's giving them a better benefit. Maybe you should look at these plans instead. And it's very personalized for them.
I love that.
It makes a huge amount of enablement difference from a benefit enrollment perspective.
Oh yeah. Well, because again, the lifestyle, I mean, if you choose to have kids, we'll start with that, and you have kids, that's a whole other bailiwick than in your 20s and you don't have kids, and maybe you don't go to the doctor once a year or something like that, and you're pretty relatively healthy. Again, I love the metadata of saying people like you use benefits in this way.
Mm-hmm.
You in your particular situation, this is probably the most optimized way to use your. Now it's how do we communicate that to the people that are not employees,
right?
That are part of that. And again, there's no magic bullet there. It's just
there isn't. We do a lot of enablement with partners here directly. We have white glove service for our employee base. Like if we're going to sell HR best practice, we better do it really well internally. So we have a lot of those conversations. We have a lot of spouse kind of discussions, right, as best we can to provide that support. And we also offer that through the vendors that it's part of our enrollment strategy with the vendors that support us from a benefit perspective for them to have access to those kinds of resources if they need them. Even to the point where we have contracted with our vendors to help people who are on COBRA that are no longer with the company to make decisions like, should I be on COBRA? Should I go buy an independent plan somewhere else?
Marketplace, something.
Right? Because it might be more cost effective for them. Insurance is incredibly expensive. And so for us to have that kind of benefit for even people who are no longer with the business, like that's I
genius.
feel like next level.
That's a great alumni experience. So
it is. Well, we treat people the same way on the way out as on the way in, William. And they know people who know people who know people. It's the best, I think, way. First of all, we just operate with integrity. I think that's our goal, right? Like we just are good people with good values.
You said the insurance is expensive. And again, for the audience, this is the cheapest it'll ever be.
Yeah.
So dealing with that, it's actually a true romance kind of quote. That's as good as it's going to get, and it won't get that good ever again. So it's expensive. However, it's going to be more expensive next year. There's nothing you can do, but there's so many things that we can't control on that. And so you might remember this company, but it's Thompson's Benefits. It was a kind of a global benefits firm.
Oh yeah,
100 years ago.
Yeah.
I was talking to their CEO. This is when I was doing a lot of user adoption consulting, and he goes, "What's the one thing? What's the one thing that we could do?" I said, "Give logins to their significant others, and give them the training and teach, all that stuff, because that'll help their engagement with your employee." Because they don't have to come home and play the telephone game. This is what I learned. Okay, I have 9 questions. Okay, now I have 9 questions back for the employer, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's get out of the telephone game. And they did. They turned around. It took them a little while to kind of get it past legal and some other things.
But, a lot of HIPAA.
Yeah, a lot of HIPAA in there. Forms had to be filled out and signatures had to be created. Yeah,
forms.
Fair. However, in certain countries they didn't care, and some they care more. But it was the ease of use in which that person, because it used to be, we would go into a conference room and we would learn about our benefits. And by the time you'd hit the door to go out of that meeting, you've already lost all.
It's gone.
All knowledge. All knowledge stayed in the room. It's just stayed there. I don't know what happened to it. I remember just coming home and having a folder and giving it to my wife and saying, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, and they'd mail paper to the house.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And, okay, so usually in research studies like this, I like to ask, like, is there anything that can you look at And you're like, yeah, that tracks. I knew that would be that. Is there anything that stuck out in that way for you?
What stuck out? There was a lot that stuck out. We kind of talked about this earlier, but I would say I was surprised that so there almost 50% of HR leaders said that there was still a skill gap.
Oh, yeah,
And I think it's 100%.
100%.
Like
I
I don't
agree.
know what the other 50% of people were thinking. Um,
Well, to
for
your
me,
agility, for your
that was like
agility,
a
yeah, for your agility construct of every three
yeah,
months,
yeah,
we'll always have skill gaps.
yeah.
It's like
Period.
death and
Full
taxes.
stop.
Yeah, skill gaps. Let's just
I
add that
could
to the list.
I couldn't think of any scenario where that wasn't the case in any industry, any level, anything. I couldn't think of
Unless you're
it.
like a blacksmith,
I
you
mean,
know,
even if
I
you're a
know, I
blacksmith
know.
and you have, there are,
There's new ways to do
business
that.
performance strategy changes that you have to
Yeah,
consider.
it's like if you're going to medieval times, maybe some things hasn't changed. All right, fair enough. The lance has to still be the lance. All right, okay,
I mean, I
but
don't know.
but that's about
At
it.
least, yeah, at least you're thinking about how to leverage, the marketing for your organization, right? Like there's something there. And it's this technology shift. We can't adopt because there's nothing to adopt because it's changing so rapidly, right? So
Well,
I I was
when the
like,
fax
really
machine
48%? I
when the
don't.
liars when the fax machine was introduced, there was people that were pre-fax and post-fax.
Sure.
People
Yeah,
that
same.
adopted the
Yeah.
technology. Okay, so the
Yeah.
internet, same example. SaaS, same example. Social, same example, etc. So it kind of, again, to your kind of thought at the very beginning, these are just waves on a beach. We call them different things, uh, but the technology shifts of today, there is no done. And so that's the kind of not disheartening. That's actually the exciting, if we use the positive side of that. That's the exciting part of like work's different. Okay,
Yeah.
we should all look forward to that rather than be be intimidated by it.
It is exhausting, though. I mean,
Oh,
I think we call the ball and say, look,
oh yeah,
this change we manage as HR practitioner, we manage change, right, for our businesses, and it's never going to have an endpoint.
nope.
You're never going to cross the finish line on it, and you're running the race faster with more people and things and hurdles than you ever have before. So
I think we have to go back and look at our incentives because you get what you incentivize, right? And we've talked about it. I mean, a long time ago we talked about that. And I think in engagement, when the engagement movement kind of came about, we started talking a little bit more about performance, incentives, and rewards and stuff like that. But I think that we have a moment with AI adoption where we can incentivize people in a way of go find something new. We're not we'd love to be the beacon of all knowledge.
yeah, yeah.
However, you're going to find something that we don't know about. Bring it back to us.
So here's something in practice that if you're an HR practitioner and you're listening to this right now, you might be able to pick up. So instead of a hackathon, which is we're a software company, right? You have a hackathon. It's for R&D. It's for the product, right? Have an organizational hackathon around the concept of AI and how you're
Ooh, I love
making
that.
your job more effective and easier for every role, for every person, and see what comes back. And even if there isn't something that you implement for your entire org, that person learns something about AI.
100%. I mean,
And
it's training without calling it training,
yes,
right? So
it absolutely is.
we don't want to, oh, who wants to go do some training? Like, nobody wants to do that. I'd rather eat glass. So, but if we don't call it that, and we call it something like a hackathon or something like that,
Something
it's
something
fun.
like that.
It's fun.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, okay, we're going to take some hours off, day off, etc. We're going to focus and we're going to try to fix something, whatever this is that we're going to try and fix. Onboarding.
There's so much available out there, so many resources right now. Now they're going to change in 3 months. But there's so much out there. You can do virtually anything today. You can build your own app in, an hour. You
Oh yeah.
can, you
Agentic
know,
AI, especially.
yeah.
You can
Oh,
build your own
agentic,
agents to do all kinds of stuff for you.
so good.
Like that's
And
insane.
if if the majority of your population even understands what agentic AI is and what
You're
it's
already
capable
winning.
of
You're
today,
already winning.
you've already won the enablement
Just
battle.
just
Like,
the difference between AI, generative AI, and agentic AI. If your employee population can like have a concept around those two or three things, you're already moving in the
oh,
right direction. But I think that's great practical advice for HR leaders is just like embrace it, run into it, don't run away from it. Well, we could talk all day.
we could.
We're going to put the link to the report in the description so that people can then go and get a copy of the report and go through there, find their own conclusions, come up to their own things, see what, like you and I look at stats in the same way. I look at that stat, it's too high. It,
That might be accurate. But
that's,
then you think about all the reasons why that could be, and it
oh
just
yeah,
keeps your mind
oh
going.
yeah,
Like, I love that.
oh yeah, me too, me too. All right. So first of all, thank you for carving out time for us. I know you're
Always.
traveling and doing a lot of busy stuff, so thank you very much for coming, and thanks for the audience for listening and watching.